In a quarter mile, turn right.
Welcome to New Mexico. I just missed catching her saying that. I seriously could have thrown a rock to New Mexico, like it was funny, but here we are. So I am driving about an hour and a half to a rest stop that Google thinks is closed, but I checked on the New Mexico Department of Transportation site, which is what I always do. It is open from 8 a.m. to 2:30 p.m., which is weird, but here we are. There's also a rest stop right here, the Welcome Center. So obviously it is a sunny day this morning. I have been up for hours. I can't tell you how many hours because some of my things have changed time. So I've been up for 2.5 hours. Made coffee. I didn't make hot breakfast because it is a bit of an extravaganza still to make hot breakfast inside the car. I kind of need to switch around where some things are to make it so it's easier to make hot breakfast in the morning because I have to kind of dig some things out and such. What I'm thinking would be a good idea is the night before I want to make hot breakfast, I dig those things out. So it's easier for me in the morning, especially if I can just open up the hatch in the back and get the stuff out so I don't have to go through big extravaganza. So this morning I just had bars, but I did make hot coffee. Hot coffee is easy in the morning in the car. And now that I'm making hot coffee in the morning, maybe I'll do that when I'm in town too. Because the thing is, it's really not that difficult now that I kind of have it all set up. So this rest stop looks fairly packed. I'm sure there's a bunch of people who stayed at this one because the one on the other side, there's not you can totally get to it from this side because it's at an exit, but there's not signs for it, so you wouldn't really know it's there. So anyway, one thing I wanted to talk about this morning is, while I'm remembering it, is that as I'm traveling, one thing that I do is I go on the website for the Department of Transportation of each state that I'm going to check on the rest stops. Because as you know, I like to sleep in rest stops, but also I need to go to the bathroom. And I need to rest. I need to cook food. And while there are other places you can do that, a rest stop is incredibly convenient and efficient to be able to do that, and it's free, right? But they close, they're permanently closed, they're temporary closed, whatever. And then also, there's not always signs on the highway for where the rest stops are. Or sometimes they're on the next highway that's a spur off, but it's only a mile down the road, so it's totally easy to get to. So if you just Google the name of the state and then 511 after it, the first result usually is the website for the Department of Transportation for that state. And it'll have some kind of map. And that map will be a dynamic map where you can select what's on there. And so typically a lot of times it has certain things defaulted. I'll want to look for what roads are closed, where there's construction, where they are cleaning off snow, or where they have chain requirements, as well as rest stops. The current status on rest stops. And I check that before I leave to drive through that next state, or when I'm stopped and I'm about ready to go to that next state. So here in New Mexico, that Welcome Center I just passed, there's 2 more rest stops that are closed permanently, but they still show up as rest stop, whatever. And it says on the Department of Transportation for New Mexico, it says they're closed permanently, so not temporary closed. I don't know why. Then there's a rest stop that's only open from 8 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. Now, Google says that it is closed, but it's not closed. So this is something that's really important. Google will regularly say a rest stop is open when it's closed, or that it's closed when it's open, because Google does not interface with the 511 site with the state. They just have random people who report it as being closed. So someone got there at 3 o'clock in the afternoon and it was closed, and so they submitted it to Google as being closed. But it's not like if someone looks it up on the website to see, or that they pull the data from the website to see. So you have to go on the Department of Transportation site to actually find out. Google is stupid. It does not know if rest stops are closed. And this is a big thing that I think is important. And then typically before I go to a state and I want to stay in the rest stops, I look up what their rule is. And it's the most important thing to know is, do they have, they only allow you to stay at the rest stop for an hour or two, The states that I'm driving through, either you can stay there as long as you need to, it just has a vague, you can stay there as long as you need to rest, or it has a specific amount of time. California is 8 hours, even though I actually stayed there for way more than 8 hours on a regular basis. Texas is 24 hours. New Mexico is 24 hours in any 3 days, over 3 days. So the idea is 8 hours at 3 different rest stops over 3 days, kind of so you can sleep at 3 of them, or 24 hours in one. That's kind of how the rule works. I'm going to be sleeping tonight at a rest stop. the next place I'm going to go is a rest stop, and that will be just to go to the bathroom and maybe cook food. I'm going to be going to a rest stop in the middle, which is very, very close to my land, most likely to at least go to the bathroom and stuff, but also maybe to cook food or eat food or to literally just rest. I want to see what that rest stop is like, because since it's the nearest rest stop and actually nearest bathroom to my land, I want to see, like, can I use it as a place to stay sometimes when I come to my land isn't really ready to go yet, you know what I mean? Because it's a lot faster to go to that than, like, there isn't a closer Planet Fitness to where my land is. So I can go there to, like, take a shower every few days, but then I don't want to go there to go to the bathroom, or I wouldn't even go there every day. It would just, it's like over an hour. That's assuming there isn't bad traffic. Hold on. I'm not saying Albuquerque has bad traffic coming from California, but it might have traffic for Albuquerque, right? So yeah, I don't know how their traffic situation is. Sometimes relatively small cities can have worse traffic because they're not actually set up for it. You know what I mean? This really is beautiful country out here. I haven't driven this part of 40 in decades. And so not only do I not really know it very well, I don't remember what it was like. And last time I drove it, as I said, was decades ago in my 20s. So I hadn't done as much driving, so I didn't have as much context for what highways could be like. If there are no rest stops open, I mean, you could stop at a truck stop. I'm not gonna say there's always places to stop. There are some remote places I've gone in, like Nevada and such, where there's nothing, like literally freaking nothing for an hour and a half. Of course, in places like that, it's usually deserted enough that if you just need to pee, you can literally pull over the side of the road and just pee, and there's nobody who's going to see you because there isn't anybody on the highway, because there isn't anybody around at all. But that means that there's not going to be a gas station, there's not going to be all kinds of services. So this morning, I worked. I'm not on vacation. I'm still doing work and things like that. And so I spent about 2 hours answering client emails. I did client filings, all that kind of stuff. So I had a little mini work day, got a bunch of things done for people, which is absolutely great and good. Kind of kept the ball rolling for things. There's one filing I was planning to do, but the trademark office's assignment division is down. Their website is down. I'm just like, dude, I need to get stuff done. I will do some more stuff over the next couple days, and then I will be taking time off when I'm at my parents' house and also on the day of the eclipse. Integrating life this way, where I just stop and either first thing in the morning or like yesterday in the midday and spend 2 hours working, I think that actually works out pretty well, and I can kind of keep everything afloat. Now, I'm not editing video. Obviously, I'm shooting video. I'm not editing video. I'm just doing law firm work. So emails, client work, answering comments on the YouTube channels, just keeping everything up in the air. If I'm only going to work a couple hours a day, it's going to be law firm stuff. So I realized, I just checked the New Mexico Department of Transportation website, look at the map, because I was planning out where I'm going to stop next. And the interstate is closed in between here and Albuquerque because of an accident. And actually, my significant other I think it was the last time, they drove to Albuquerque. They got stopped there for 6 hours or some huge amount of time. So I'm just going to stay here at this rest stop, which is just maybe 15 miles from where all the problems are, and do work, whatever, because I'm not in a super hurry. It's only 11:18 in the morning. I have 8 hours before sunset. And yeah, I'm not in a particular hurry. I would much rather wait for it to just clear out and be busy. Like, I have things to do, so I might as well just do those things. The only other thing to do today is, besides driving and getting to the next place, is to test out the rest stop that's near my land and see if I can go to my land and at least get off the exit by my land and look at the roads and kind of, I don't need to be light to do that. Yeah. And the thing is, if it's going to be a 6-hour wait, I don't want to be waiting on the highway. I want to be waiting next to a bathroom and a place where I can eat and work. And I have internet. Now, if it ends up being like, if it's 4 hours from now and it's still closed, there is a way for me to keep going down 40, get off on and take a back route, but it adds a lot of time. And also there's bad traffic between here and there, and then bad traffic on that road, but with everybody who's also taking that detour. So I'll just wait. I mean, it might be clear it's already been there for an hour. I don't understand why they shut down an entire interstate to clear up an accident. Like, what kind of accidents are happening where you can't leave one lane open? I'm just amazed by that they think, oh yes, we should shut down the entire interstate for many, many, many hours when there's very few alternative routes. And by the way, if you get stuck in that, they don't route you around. They don't have you like drive back and drive off. Like in the Bay Area, when they have to shut down the interstate because there's like a chemical spill or some wackadoodle thing, then they actually take all the cars who got stuck and they turn them around and take them off backwards. No, they don't do that here. Yours there. I think part of it is because a lot of them are tractor trailers, so there is no way to get them off. But there's some of them are cars. I don't know. I'm not in charge of how it works, obviously, and I don't really understand. But I'm just gonna chill here, work on stuff. I have schoolwork to do. I have work to do. I have personal admin work to do. And I was gonna have to do it today or tomorrow or the next day, so I could just get it all done now, right? And I'm at a rest stop this rest stop is open until, what did I say? Oh, it's only open until 2:30, so I'd have to leave here at 2:30. But to be honest, I could just drive off the rest stop and go to a truck stop. So it's not like I actually have to, like, I can't stay here longer than that. I just can't literally stay in this rest stop longer than that. There's a big backup on the interstate still, even though it's open. So I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna take a different route for the part that's closed, which is Route 66. So I'm driving on the old Route 66, which should get me there a tiny bit earlier, but it'll definitely get me there in a lot nicer of a way because it's a nice little windy road that's going along the mesas and such. And yeah, it's much more lovely than the sitting in horrible bumper to bumper on the interstate. Now, the thing is, Google is always very far behind what traffic is, so it actually may be wrong about the traffic, but I was stuck in enough bumper in California on the 5. I am just not feeling it, so I am taking this nice little route. Back on the road again. So I went back a couple exits and just went to a truck stop and hung out there for a couple hours. I talked to my son on FaceTime for a while, which was great, and I got an ice cream and talked to my significant other. I'd been coming down with a migraine, and I tried the various, I have different escalations of things that I try. I tried the first tier things, and then I was like, doesn't work. So I took a sumatriptan. So it was good that I stayed there for an hour and had my ice cream and let all the traffic go. So yeah, I don't know. This stretch, I personally know of twice where there's people had problems. Yeah, it's no good. Okay, I just realized that my battery is not charging my phone. I'm going to have to solve that problem as I'm going down a 4% grade and also recording. So, hold on. It's a beautiful place. So I had a migraine that I really think that one of the things that set it off was the glare. The sun is just so hot and glary here. There's no shade really anywhere, unless it's like constructed by people shade. So yeah, it's just, but sumatriptan works. That's pill number 1 of 2 that I get to take in a week. So hopefully that will be it, and I won't. Oh shit! These trucks, geez, they pass people and they're right in front of you, right in front of me. I'm imagining the trucks are extra aggressive right now because they're all behind because of that, the highway being shut down for hours. and then taking hours to undo the tangle. It's a section of 40 in New Mexico where there's like no exits for a long ways. And the exits that exist, the roads don't connect up with anything. So you can't take an alternate route. There are alternate routes, but you have to already have taken it. If you get stuck in that kind of a thing in a certain section, you have to have already gotten off and gotten around it. So it is a good lesson to always remember that you have to check with what's going on. If you're on the 40, you're going to take the 40 in New Mexico. You have to check multiple times to see what the status is of the road, because they closed that thing and you don't want to be stuck in it for an unknowable amount of time. I think I must be in Albuquerque because I had to go, and I'm not going, the speed limit now is 65. Google Maps is like, oh, well, I want you to take this other route so you can get around this other traffic. And then I looked and I'm like, oh my goodness, are you serious? So I think what that is they are repaving. And so it goes down to one lane and it's horrible traffic because of that. So it has been going a different way, which actually may be good because I'm not going to somewhere that's like, it might be taking me back roads, and that actually might be a good experience. But I think it's getting me off in a town that actually, I've seen on the map before, and then taking me down side roads or something. I don't know. It's an adventure. I am tired because of as I was saying, I am tired because I took migraine medicine. That always makes me tired. I should perk up later as day goes on, which is good. I wouldn't want to drive in the dark right now. I'm not like sleepy tired or anything like that. I'm fine to drive. I'm just like not excited about any things that exist. So like seeing my land or whatever, I'm like, whatever. Yeah, I will get off the highway wherever and explore around a little bit. And then we'll look at the road and see if getting to my land is something realistic. Right now, hiking a couple of miles down a dirt road that I can't drive on is not something that I'm up for. There are times where I would be. Yesterday I would have been. Today I am definitely not. But in the future, I am going to have, whether or not I go see it now, I am going to have like a time where I come to New Mexico specifically to go see my land. And at that time, I will have some of the stuff with me so I can go on sketchy roads. So having a shovel and having, all these kind of things that I don't have with me right now. So I can only go on roads that I know are going to be no problem. But any road that is sketchy, I'm like, that ain't going to happen. Okay, so I'm in the town that is closest to my land, which is, I'm not telling you where that is. And like, I'm having troubles because of the migraine and traffic. I had to get off that road. I actually got to drive on a road that I'm glad I drove on it, but still. So I went and got fast food because I officially have troubles and it makes sense to get some fast food. I actually paid for it with cash though. So it's not even actually in my budget because it's coming out of cash that I happen to have. I'm going to take the back road to get to the land. There's a couple of different rest stops that I can stay at in New Mexico that are allegedly open. So, including one that's really close. If for some reason I stayed out there for a long time. So, no problem. Things are okay. And I actually, now that the migraine medicine is working through me, I'll pick up more and more and have more energy. Right now I'm just going to chill out for a little bit. I need a little break. Okay, so I'm on a road that's kind of nearby my land. I mean, I'm not quite there yet. This is a paved road. I love my lips that way. However, right here, internet speed, 160 upload, like 40 down, 160 download, like 40 upload. I mean, this is faster in the Silicon Valley, San Francisco, whatever. There must be a tower right here because it's craziness. I can upload video. So that's encouraging. Now, by my land, I may have nothing. It all depends on exactly, so some of this out here has amazing 5G, but at a certain point you won't get that. And then at a certain point it'll be nothing. So I do not know. However, there must be a tower like for the interstate or something. The town actually did not have good internet. I don't know. Maybe a lot of people were using it. I don't know. I only had LTE in town. So I'm really glad, even if I don't actually make it to my land this time, I'm really glad I came out here so I can get the vibe of the place. The small town, that's the closest small town. So there's a town that's from my actual land is probably 30 minutes away, and there's another town that's 15 minutes away. The 30 minutes away town has, you know, regular grocery stores, harbors, and Trader Joe's and stuff. You have to go into Albuquerque, but it has all the major stuff. And then this small town, it has fast food places. It has Dollar General as well as Dollar Tree, you know, it's that kind of place. But that's something, right? It also has places where you can buy ice and buy water. So it's good to see that they have those kind of resources, as well as, you know, big truck stops. So there's resources to have. And there's a lot of people you can just see as I'm going by who own land out here and just have their, like, all kinds of stuff on it. Different, you know, RVs, random things that look slightly abandoned, you know, all kinds of stuff. So it's there. We're starting to get into a place where there's less and less and less rules. One of the reasons I bought the land that I bought, and if I decide not to build here and decide to build somewhere else, I'll get a similar kind of idea, is that I want something that has almost no rules. And this out here has almost no rules. It's not even zoned like in a town. It's just under the rules of the state which is implemented by the county. So, and it's infinitesimally small rules, especially compared to California. But not just California, like there are states out here in the West where you can't build a tiny house and have it be actually permitted. You're not allowed to. You know, so just because you buy land out in the middle of nowhere does not mean you're allowed to do what you want with it. Now, it may be that you are effectively allowed to do what you want because no one enforces the rules, but there are still rules that they could decide randomly to enforce. Or there's places like out here where there actually aren't any rules. I think we're turning into a dirt road, so I don't know. I don't see pavement up ahead. Dead end. Okay, I'm now on a road that is kind of gravel, but it's really, really packed. This actually goes to a landfill, so it's going to get tons and tons of traffic. And so while it's not paved, it's a very well done road. So I've gone on this route to get to my land because my thought is I'll have mostly solid road and very bumpy. Now there's a lot of other land for sale out here, and there's always a possibility I'll decide I actually want something closer to the highway that's easier to get to if I realize that my land doesn't work. I mean, I do love this like wide open space. Now, of course, it's 72 degrees. It's like the perfect time right now. So right here, not that far away from the highway, I can actually see the highway behind me, and I still have LTE. No more 5G, but I still have LTE. So down this road is my land. Apparently there's also a cow. So, you know, that's interesting. So that road, I mean, I could probably drive on it. But the thing is, I just don't know what my car is capable of doing. Like it is, like this road's amazing here, but that's for, so like looking on this road, this definitely has mud on it. There's a cow on it, but it really has grooves that you can see. Here, I'm going to show you. So you can see that it has grooves, you know, and then it comes up in the middle. And this is just the road that goes to the road where my land is on. So yeah, I'm not up to driving on it today. I'm not up to having issues or anything like that. However, I'm excited to be out here. I'm excited to be close. The thing is, I don't really have time to like hang out at my property. That isn't what this trip is for. But I am excited to be close to it, and I can see what the deal is. So there actually is, on this road, I can see, you know, there's someone right here who has a bunch of RVs and such, is probably kind of homesteading there. There's some buildings out there. So, you know, I'm not the only person out here. It does make me think about buying something closer up here to make it a lot, you know, easier because I'm actually pretty far down that way, which seems like not the best idea. Okay, so yeah, I love how quiet it is. I actually right here can hear the interstate. So yeah, it's interesting. And you can see there's just some random people who have the little, you know, RV homestead kind of places. So this is the kind of thing I want to do too. So yeah, I do like this. I do like it. But I can see some people have plots right off of this road, which would really make it easy to get to. And they're going to keep this road up because it goes to the dump for this area. So I looked and it's 1.5 miles down that road. So if I was in much better physical place today, I could totally walk that. And I could totally just leave my car here. I'd probably put a note in it saying I'm coming back. But this road is so wide, it wouldn't bother anybody, even if dump trucks are coming up here or whatever to the dump or something. So that would be totally fine. And then I could walk up there. Because I really feel like I need to scout the whole road. But it also gives me some good information for, you know, do I want to actually buy a different piece of property? That property was only $1,500. So, you know, I could definitely buy something else that might be available. And there's actually other land available because a lot of people own land out here that they ended up never using. So they sell, you can get plots out here. Now you can really tell the difference between some of these roads where somebody has paid to have it maintained. I mean, this is by the county, but someone's paid to have it maintained, or not that much is being done on it, so people driving on it. And obviously the more people drive on it, in some ways it keeps it clear, but also it could get beat up. I just saw an SUV turn in here and go down it. They kind of drove where they had one tire on the center part and one on the side. So that's good to know. And then they went to that very first homestead thing that has an RV and multiple other things. So I kind of really just enjoyed that. I was like, oh, it's one of my peoples, right? Anyway, it was good to see that they navigated this part easy. But I know the road is going to get worse and worse and worse as it goes. So that is a trip for another day. But I actually do really like this area. I know most people would not. Okay. Most people would look at this and be like, that looks terrible. Not to me. I think it looks great. All right, I am going to head off to the next rest stop and go back to the highway and get to the next rest stop and regroup and decide how far I'm going to go tonight. So you might be surprised that I drove out here and didn't actually go to my land. But the thing is, I have a migraine. My pain is gone and I feel so much better, but I still have it. I'm still tired. You know, I have this weird taste in my mouth. I mean, all these things. Some of that is stuff from the medicine. And it's already 5:30. So 1.5 miles is not that far. But I'm so like tired and everything. I'm like, going 1.5 miles, turning around, coming back 1.5 miles. I'm going to run out of light. You know, I'm just like, you know what? This is not the day for that. That is a different trip. But I'm excited because I feel like, you know, this is possible for me to do. I need to do more research on how to drive on gravel roads and stuff like that. Because I just, I don't have experience doing that. And, you know, these roads that have the 2 grooves for the tires. You know, I saw the guy driving kind of one set of tires on the actual groove part and had an SUV like mine. So I think that's one of the strategies for it. But yeah, I'm just like, I don't think that I'm up for that right now. Actually, I wouldn't say I think. I know I am not up for that right now. One of the things too is, since I saw cows who are just literally roaming around this area, that means you do need to have, if you want to like have, you know, your like a garden or something, like you're going to homestead, you actually need to put in fencing. The next time I come here out to my land, I am going to be prepared to drive it, be prepared to walk it if I can't drive it, be prepared to extract my car. And here's the other thing too, is I would be pulling up to my land and literally not have a place to park the car. So I actually would want stuff with me. Like what I wouldn't first time. I would go out to the land, scope it out, and then come back to town and go to a hardware store and get some stuff so I can like hack out like a little parking spot. Like it could literally just be a little pull out, but I can't just pull out. There's to be nowhere even to turn around. You know what I mean? So yeah. So it's not as sagebrushy as or anything as I thought. There's a lot of that, but it's not solid by any means. We'll see once I actually get out to my property. But yeah, I'm excited. It's like a fun project. I have no idea if I'll ever actually build a tiny house there or anything like that. But it is good to like have it. It's like kind of one of my backup plans. Like if there's another pandemic or if there's a civil war or whatever, like something where like I can't just travel around. I have to go to some piece of land that I own. I have a piece of land, and then that would be my project. I really hope none of these things happen. But like lately I've just been like, I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't know what's gonna happen. I think we need to strategize that any of these wackadoodle things could happen. Now that we've had the pandemic, it's like anything can happen. All right, so this is now there's another mile and a half to go to my land, but getting back to the interstate, super fast and easy. So that is awesome. And then this road can go straight into town, or I can just go get the interstate, take the interstate to town. I actually drove the road in from town because I wanted to see what that was like and get the vibe for the area. I will say, I mean, obviously there's a lot of poverty out here. There's, you know, the kind of issues that you have in places that are very rural and have a very, very low population density. But I like places that have very low population density. So that's fine with me. And in my businesses are all virtual. So I just need internet. Now, for some reason, I get out to my land and I have absolutely zero connection. That means I may or may not actually build there, but in the future, I don't think I'm actually going to build anything for like 10 or 20 years. I'm going to just travel, unless there's a, you know, the aforementioned pandemic civil war situation, and then maybe I will just go full into homesteading, right? Also, could I even sink a well out here? Would there be any water? Is that even possible? So there's that too. But I'm actually relieved, I guess. So maybe I was a little bit worried. But yeah, this is definitely the kind of, you know, place that other people would not like, but yeah, I do. So I am regrouping at a rest stop. I'm gonna walk up there and go to the bathroom in a second. This is actually a nice rest stop. It's 3 miles up from the exit that I get off of, 3 miles away. So that's excellent. It has like this big, huge circle where there's all these like little picnic things and you can park your car. So this would be a good place to sleep, as well as the spots up near the bathrooms. I only parked over here just to kind of have my own space so I can record. Of course, someone's walking around here. So there's my husband. They're walking their dog though. So I'm gonna go up there and go to the bathroom, and then I'm gonna figure out how far else I'm gonna drive. It is 5:40. I don't know what time it sunsets, so I have to figure that out. Yep, so it has good enough internet here to work, not good enough to upload at this rest stop. So I'm gonna go check out the bathrooms and see what you got going on. It's too busy for me to film anywhere close to bathrooms because that's just creepy, but this is pretty busy. There's not a lot of car spots actually by the bathrooms, but out here there's a ton of places.